This is Sunwind. I'm Michael. I'd like to introduce you to the SolarDrive, which is the first of our solar car kits, and the others were sort of spring-offs from it. Why it was called SolarDrive is because you can drive in several different ways. This little bushing allows you to mount any one of the three sizes of pulleys, 1 inch, 1.5 inch, and 2 inch that come with a kit, directly onto the motor. And if you like, so drive a pulley of that size, or if you like, mount a tire on, and you can direct drive something else, spin something else with this as the motor source. We're using a 1.5 volt panel, which easily detaches. The alligator clips come off the back of the motor, and so the panel can be used for other things. The kits can be disassembled and reused several times. This is our SolarDrive. Oops, running backwards. Well, you know why that is. It's because it's direct current. And we've hooked up the clips at the back of the motor so that the car runs backwards. If you were to change these clips around and put the positive lead onto the other tab on the back of the motor, and now try it out, you'll find that your car now runs forward. I'd like to show you the reason why this form of construction is so useful for children to be able to build onto other things. In the end, what I had hoped to do was to make a kit where children could build, almost like Mr. Potato Head, solar-driven mechanisms of their own design on recycled materials. To that end, we were using screw-eye axle holders, still are, dowel axles, and screwing the screw-eye into wood blocks, and the dowel axle slides into here so that you've got an axle in an axle holder, and this can sandwich other materials, so you can sandwich materials between the screw-eye and the wood block, as we do in our car kits. Where here the screw-eye has been screwed through the coroplast and into the wood block, and that's the axle holder for the front of the car. But you could equally screw into soft plastics like this, and so that's a running axle. Or here again, we've used a slightly different kind of bottle. Through metal, again, that would be rather flimsy without the wood block as a back to it. So you're able to either go directly into the wood block itself, or sandwich materials between the wood block and the screw-eye. The situation here is we have wood blocks, screw-eyes, and a screw-eye can screw into a wood block. This push pin is what we call a sharp tool, or an awl, and that can be used to widen the hole in the piece of wood so that the screw-eye advances easily. Now, if you're having a little trouble, you can use the dowel, which we're about to use as an axle, as a lever just to turn it in. I'd be careful about sanding the dowel too much unless you determine you need to. If you do need to sand dowel, the way to do it is to fold the sandpaper in half and then twist it as you're coming through so that you're having a roundness here, that you don't go up and down in one place and just make a flat spot. The only tools required for any of our kits is a pair of scissors and sandpaper, which we supply. The scissors are really just to cut slight sections of tubing to be used as inline shaft retainers for the screw-eye axle construction. So where we've got the screw-eye and the axle is hanging freely in it, the axle would slide sideways if we didn't do something to retain it from doing that. And so this little piece of tubing has the fancy and rather long name of being an inline shaft retainer. So we get that into place, and it takes a bit. You now have a way of hanging an axle that can stay in place, and so the wheels don't slap against the side of the vehicle. So that's what's happened here. You can come in and see the axle turning there, and that's freely. There's a little bit of side play, but it allows the vehicle to be built. So the solar panel can come off. The alligator clips come off the back of the solar panel, or off the back of the motor. Now you want to be sure to show children how to unclip the alligator clips before they pull away from the tabs of the motor. Otherwise you will have tabs of the motors coming off after, eventually. The motor itself is held on by a sticky back, so it can pop away too and be used in other instances if you want to. The elastic band disassembles, of course, and then here the wheels come off. Here's a pair of pliers that we use in our Soul Run kit, and if you grab the axle here and just twist the pulley, and then a clockwise motion, just spinning it, that comes away. The dowel axles can be reused several times. You'll find after 2 or 3 years you may want to reorder parts, in which case all of the parts that we supply in any of our kits, just send us an email and we'll quote you back and forth until we're all satisfied within your budget, so that you're able to use the kits for several years more.